Hey guys, it's Ashley from acbsgotbookcitement, and I am here with my May wrap-up. Yes, all the books that I read in May, and let me just tell you, I did pretty A-okay good in May. I read 8 books, which, that's really good for me. So, I'm going to tell you about the ones I read now. The first one that I read was The Sin Eater's Daughter by Melinda Salisbury. So what this one is about, it's like this fantasy kingdom where this girl finds out that she is the embodiment of this goddess, and her job as the embodiment of this goddess is to execute traitors, so she can kill people with a single touch. So she is very isolated, alone, and sad, and she is also betrothed to the prince of the kingdom. The prince and the king and the queen are exempt from being killed by her powers because they are loved by the gods. Yes. I ended up giving this book a 3 out of 5. It was disappointing. The girl is not a beat-em-up heroine. She mopes a lot. She feels sorry for herself a lot, and she spends a lot of time in her room at the castle, so there is not a lot of action in this book. And the other thing that was kind of bleh about it was the romance. I didn't like it, I didn't understand it, I thought it happened too quick, and I could see through the guy. You knew he was up to something no good. It was disappointing. I wanted it to be like really cool, because, you know, the whole blurb, kill with a single touch, that brings to mind action, adventure, danger, and there was really none of that. I think it's a series, don't quote me on that, and I don't know if I'll read the rest of it or not. I don't know. So the next book that I read was A Cold Legacy by Megan Shepherd. This is the 3rd and final book in the Madman's Daughter trilogy, which is one of my favorites. I love it. So, I finished a series. Yay! What this one is about, still with our characters, and they are on the run because of what happened in the last book, and they are camped out at this old castle place. So this one, each book is based on like a classic horror story kind of, and this one's based on Frankenstein, so it has Frankenstein elements. I ended up giving it a 4 out of 5. I really enjoyed it. It wasn't my absolute favorite of the series, and the ending, you're kind of left with a little bit of openness, but at the same time, it's an okay ending. It satisfies me, I guess. But yes, I definitely love that series. I recommend it to all of you because it is awesome. The 3rd book that I read was actually a graphic novel, but it counts as a book, so and it is Why the Last Man, Unmanned, Volume 1, and it is by Brian K. Vaughan, Pia Guerrera, and Jose Marzan, Jr. Yes. So this is a graphic novel series about some mysterious plague thing, I don't know, that wipes out every man on Earth except for our main character Yorick Brown and his pet monkey Ampersand. In this volume, we're just kind of introduced to everything, you know, all the men just falling dead. And then Yorick having to kind of like disguise himself from all these women and try to meet up with his mom and try to figure out what's going on, try to find his girlfriend that's in Australia that he really wants to get to. And yeah, there's just a lot of stuff going on and a lot of mystery, and it was definitely a good first volume. I gave it a 4 out of 5 because I liked it. I thought the main character, Yorick Brown, he was really funny, and I like that in characters, like that sarcastic sense of humor, I guess. I really enjoy that. But I liked it, and I plan on continuing with that series. And if you didn't know, Brian K. Vaughan also wrote Saga, which is, woo, big hyped here on BookTube. So that's another one of his series if you want to go check that out. So the next book that I read was Through the Ever Night, which is the sequel to Under the Never Sky by Veronica Rossi. And I ended up giving this a 4 out of 5 as well. I thought it was great. It was a great sequel. So, for those of you that don't know what this series is about, it's kind of like this post-apocalyptic world, and we have one character, Arya, who lives in like this dome society that has a really big influence on technology, and she's kicked out of her dome life, and she's forced to survive outside where the sky is pulsing with like electricity and ether. And she meets up with Perry, who's from that world, and they kind of come together and they survive, and love ensues. So this sequel is just a continuation of their journey. They're trying to find the still blue. Arya is being blackmailed by somebody to find the location of the still blue, and Perry is now leader of his people, and he's having to do stuff for them to keep them alive as well. But yeah, it was an awesome sequel. I found it to be better than the first book for me. It was just tons of fun, tons of action, a really cool, crazy world. Yes, I really liked it. The next book that I read was Undertow by Michael Buckley. This is the first book in a new series. It just came out pretty much not too long ago. And what it's about that these undersea creatures one day just came out of the ocean and camped out on Coney Island. And people didn't know what to do. Chaos ensued. And now, 3 years later, these sea people are still, they're fenced in on Coney Island. So they're living on the beach on Coney Island. The government wants to take some of these sea kids and put them in a school. And our main character, Lyric Walker, is assigned to the prince of the sea people, and she has to like befriend him, and then something else blossoms, and blah 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 blah. I ended up giving this book a 3 out of 5. I didn't really enjoy it, and I'll tell you why. I don't get why they set it 3 years after the initial invasion, because I think all the excitement would have happened right at the beginning. So that was strike one against it. I didn't like that. Strike two, I didn't understand why they hadn't done anything in 3 years. These fish people are still camped out on the beach. They had murdered 9 Marines, and I think if you kill soldiers, why would you just let them stay on the beach? And we didn't really know why they were on the beach throughout a majority of the book. If you can live under the sea, no problem. Why camp out on a small section of beach? I don't know. I also thought the author tried to push in too many other issues into this book, when he could have just stuck to the cool sea people thing. Like, he had a school shooting, he had bullying, he had hate crimes, he had domestic abuse, he had illegal immigration. There were too many things, and I was like, ugh. And also, he really tried to push, the author did a lot of his own personal opinions into the story, and I didn't appreciate that. I just get tired of reading about how all the protesters outside the school are just crazy Christians, or how the school shooter was a crazy Christian. I just get tired of that. It's not real life, okay? I get tired of hearing it. And also, he picked a name for this evil politician, and he wasn't very creative in the name. You could tell exactly who he was referring to. It annoyed me a lot. When I read somebody's work, I know they put a little bit of themselves into the story, but I don't want them pushing their own personal agenda on me. I don't like that. Take it outside, please. And I didn't think the story was that great. Lyric, the main character, she annoyed me, and he missed a lot of really cool opportunities that he could have done with the character, because you find out pretty early on that Lyric is not altogether human, that her mom is not altogether human, and he really could have done something with that, and he didn't. I don't know. I didn't really like it that much, and I don't know, there's a sequel to it, because of course it's book 1, and I don't know if I'm even going to read the sequel, because the first chunk of that book was just filler, and it was only maybe the ending that got semi-exciting. So, why read the sequel if it's just going to be another one of those? But anyway, enough ranting. So then I read Resident Evil, The Maharwa Desire Volume 2 by Naoko Sarazawa, concept by Capcom. Resident Evil, that's what you need to know. I read the first book a little while ago, and I thought it was cheesy, but it was fun. And this book I ended up giving a 3.5 out of 5. I ended up really enjoying it too. They're very quick reads. This one definitely upped the mystery. There is a hooded woman roaming the campus of Maharwa Academy, and wherever she goes, disaster follows. So who is she? I don't know. The only things that kind of bothered me was that over half of the book, it was like a big chunk of action scenes, and it was kind of hard to follow what was going on from panel to panel. Just a lot of busyness in it. None of these books ever have an ending, and I would like a little closure. It's kind of like where one ends, the next one picks right off, which can be good if you have all the books in front of you, but if you don't, I don't know. So yeah, but it's fun. I definitely recommend it if you just want a quick zombie series. There's definitely some kind of moments in it, but it's fun. The next book that I read was All the Rage by Courtney Summers. I have it right here. And this book is about a girl who something happened to her at a party. She kind of told what happened, kind of didn't, but everybody knows that she accused the sheriff's son, the golden boy, Kellen Turner, of raping her. And she never reports it, though. Doesn't do that. But so now everybody in her town hates her. Everybody at her school hates her. She's lost her friends. She hasn't really gone to any type of counseling to deal with what's happened to her. And another girl goes missing, and we don't know if it could be connected to what happened to Romy or if it's not. Writing in this is really, really good. I really enjoyed the writing. And up to page 200, maybe even longer than that, I was hooked. I was very much enjoying the story. It was going to be a 4-star read for me. But then I got to the end, and I don't know, I just started getting a little annoyed of the character. So I ended up dropping it from a 4 to a 3.5 out of 5. It's still a very good story about a really serious issue, but I wish that the main character, Romy, would have grown throughout the story. She kind of just stays in this same angry, guarded shell, and I wish that she could have broken free from that and grown. And also, she had plenty of chances to tell people the truth, and I know she probably feels like nobody's going to believe her because of what happened, but I just thought some of the stuff that she kept secret could have helped other people, could have helped her, and she just closes off, and I wish she wouldn't have done that because she ended up losing a guy that was really nice and was really good. And because of her inability to open up, she lost what could have been a good relationship. And also, there's a girl missing, and I didn't really like how Romy, that's the main character's name, I don't even know if I'm saying that right, but I don't really like how she focused more on herself than on the actual girl that was missing. Like, she'd constantly say things like, oh, what would they say if I was missing? Would anybody care if I was gone? Blah, 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 blah. So she just felt sorry for herself a lot. And I know something awful happened to her, but I wanted her to grow, and I wanted her to open up to her mom, and because she had a good family, and I don't know. I wanted there to be more. I wanted there to be a more happy ending for Romy, and because of how she was, there wasn't. Because she never changed throughout the book, and that just... But I really did enjoy it, and I'm going to read more of Courtney Summers because her writing is really, really good. And the last book that I read in the month of May was Saga Volume 1 by Brian K. Vaughan and Fiona Staples. Yes, I finally picked it up after all the massive hype. And let me just say, I definitely enjoyed this. I ended up giving it a 4 out of 5. I think it's best if you go into this one not really knowing what's going on. All you pretty much need to know is that these two people right here, Marco and Alana, are from warring clans of people. And they end up falling in love and running away, and they have a baby. And this was awesome. I'm not going to open it up because there are some graphic adult pictures in this series, which, warning for you youngsters, you probably don't want to read this because there's some stuff in it. But I very much enjoyed this. I can't wait to get my hands on the next ones and see where this goes. It was very, very good. So that's what I read in May. I will see you guys later in the next video, probably a June TBR. Yes, bye!